We got Beat It now cover, which I'm scared of. I'm gonna be so honest. I'm terrified of this one. I think it'll be incredible because of the vocal prowess you have to have, and just performance wise, like you can't just meander your way into a Michael Jackson cover. You know what I mean? Like, you have to commit if you're gonna do a Michael Jackson cover. So I'm nervous about this one, but this is the one that overwhelmingly people were like, you have to watch that one. So I'm taking your suggestions. Pray for me. Let's do this. See, this is scaring me already. They're performers. It's a production. Oh no, he has a flag. Jesus Christ. Can we just take a moment? With the like sequined choker, the scoop neckline, the slicked back hair, and whenever he has a flag, I'm like, that means we're dealing with something, okay? Holla holla, set me up to be like, never trust. Even say my name. Just need a moment. Does he even have like the band? Was like, isn't it like a captain band or whatever? Anyway. Boy. Okay, first off, the costuming, already A+. Second, like that we got a little bit of rasp and some of that, right? Because you got to have a little bit of a rock edge to some of your vocals for this song, right? There's got to be a little bit of that grit, a little bit of that rasp coming through. So I love that we're getting some of that. I also like that we're getting, it sounds like he's pulling up his chest voice. So it's a difficult thing, like I was saying, like vocally, this is a lot to ask of anybody, right? To handle this song. And the issue when you're getting into the higher range that you have is that you don't want to thin out the sound too much, right? Like you have to have a really like powerful kind of belting sound vocally for this one, because that's like the pop kind of rock, more like aggressive kind of sound that you're going for. So it sounds like he's pulling up his chest voice a bit to have some of that closure, right? Some of that kind of tightness that you get in some of Michael Jackson's original vocals, but because this is sitting up at a higher part of his range, he's having to pull that chest voice up a little bit, and it sounds a little bit like in his, again, if you want to know what it sounds like when you're like pulling up your chest voice, it's whatever your voice sounds like when you're yelling. It's giving like a little bit of that, so it's breaking through some of the like instrumentation and stuff that we're getting. Love the commitment to the bit. Are we doing like a bunch of different eras? We have the yellow so far. The fur collar, so good. I like him having performers with him. Boy, I'm sorry, I wasn't ready for the sunglasses. Especially this is like the almost like a bomber jacket. Again, like a pilot jacket with the fur collar. And then putting the like sunglasses on is a lot. It's a lot for you to throw at me, okay? It is nighttime, sir. You do not need the glasses. Okay, thank you. Good silhouette there. Boy is smooth. Okay, first off, the styling, thank you for your service. Second, again, love the energy that he's bringing to these vocals, like choosing that placement, because if you thin out the sound too much, it doesn't work. Love that he's leaning into some of the more powerful vocals, but it's not overpowering in the mixing. I think that's important because you have to give yourself some space to build the song up. So I like also with the mixing on this one that we're like pulling back a little bit with the vocals, so it's not overpowering from, especially like that iconic guitar line, right? Like you gotta have that as part of one of the focal points of this performance. Super smooth with some of these moves, and also love the silhouettes. I feel like if you're gonna do a Michael Jackson choreo, you have to be mindful of the silhouettes that you're using, because so many of his are so iconic, right? Like you can see just the shadow outline, like backlit of Michael Jackson. You know exactly who you're looking at, right? There's so many like iconic moments of that in like performances, concerts and stuff. So you have to have really strong silhouettes if you're going to do one of these performances, and he's doing a great job. We have lots of like empty space in terms of the like leg shapes, the arm extensions, right? The posture that he has in like overall, like with his like kind of the middle section of his body with his spine and stuff, like the way that he's choosing his silhouettes are providing a lot of that kind of empty space in the performance, and it sells perfectly for something like a Michael Jackson song, right? Right, really wide there. Even that wide stance. Even that step, right? Bent knee. Good little pullback on that vocal too. Boy, don't be like that. Classic. Didn't pour those very neatly, but also the sparkles, love it. Also, like I was saying, we have the kind of pullback on some of it. The like, you get some of that pullback with Michael Jackson vocals of that like air that comes at the end. So you get that like sound, right? So it's like a ton of tension that you're getting in the vocals, which is how you're getting kind of that really bright poppy forward sound. And then when you release it with letting some air come through, right? Like you're relaxing your vocal cords to get that like puff of air. You almost like scoop the note up, right? And he's putting like a little bit of that to pull back some of these notes. He's not like pushing forward into his nasal cavity or something, right? He's doing that with the like, beat it, right? When you hold that note, he's pushing it forward through his nasal cavity, and then other parts where he's pulling it back intentionally, because that's like very stylistic of what he's going for. Obviously doing his own thing with the vocals, but it's a nod to the originals, and I think that's a really nice little touch, right? Because you got to keep some of the iconic things in there, right? And love just like the kind of different color aesthetics that we're doing so far. I like the commitment. He doesn't need to smirk at me though. Love that flip up too. The little flip up again. I'm also just thinking, okay, again, choreo great, love getting, again, a bunch of different kind of lighting and stuff in this one. We have the velvet with the curtains and the backgrounds and stuff, and then the kind of velvety texture with his coat as well, his jacket. But I was just thinking, this is a really tiring song to sing, especially the way that he's having to push for it a little bit. And obviously not in a bad way, but like, again, if you're pulling up your chest voice, that is a tiring thing. Like I said, that's very much in the mode of where if you're yelling, that's where your voice is placed, which if you yell for a long time, you lose your voice, right? Like it tires you out. So having to put that kind of energy into his voice, obviously it's a very controlled, very intentional thing that he's doing here for a vocal, but that's really tiring for someone who has a bit of a lower, I think, range than the original vocals. So trying to keep that energy in your voice, that's a high place to be anyway. Yeah, I'm like, even for like me, I'm like, that would tire my voice out. I get tired, and I'm just thinking of that like partway through this, and I'm like, dang, you gotta, especially like recording it, right, where you're doing a bunch of stuff like back to back. I'm just thinking about like the amount of effort went into this. He's doing a great job though. I love that thin out there, just like accent those phrases. See, good silhouette there. Huge step out. See, okay, like I was saying, good silhouette, full step out there that he did. Even here, full extension with his arm back. Great silhouette. We have like a negative space right here with the bent knee. And then even when he was doing a little bit of footwork, he had like his arms up. And that also just like sells for the silhouette, if I can find it. Here, right? Where he has his arms like extended out, and that just does a better silhouette. Even just like the bent arm, you've got that negative space between his torso and his elbow. I'm a little scared now. Boy. Oh, so he's still gonna laugh at me in this one. Okay, no, it's fine. I was like, we're safe. He hasn't laughed at me. And then he was like, hang on, cut the music. Let me put my signature touch. And I'm a little bit worried now because I'm like, are we doing our own thing? Because we've done a lot of homage to the original up to this point. And now I feel like we might be going rogue. And I'm just not entirely ready. That is too much, sir. Thank you. Yeah. Wait. I'm sorry, I need time to calibrate because I was like, I feel like we're going rogue, and I'm gonna give you a whole verse? No, just processing. I was trying to do too much. I was recovering from the shock. I was trying to watch him, and I was trying to read lyrics and listen to the different production things that we got, which was a little bit more of a it sounded like more of an updated kind of electronic still based production, but definitely more an updated lean to it. And doing that, like doing the laugh, the signature laugh, and then going in. I need a moment. I'm gonna need a moment. Thank you. What was that? What was goodbye indeed? I like the go loser not go viral. I don't need to threaten me. I'm sorry, just even like the what dove at the end of the flood, like that dove of like peace after kind of everything else, like he was talking about, like, yeah, like the savage battles and like culture. I think that's like going like savage battles culture of that being like, again, like teaming up, this idea of him even talking about like dummies being around, right? Like people like picking fights or like thinking they have something to say, and him being like, I'm like, win or lose, I go viral. Like anyone who's going to say, oh, this was a win or this was a failure, I know that people are going to talk about me. I know that I'm going to make an impact. I know that the things that I'm doing are like shaking things up. And he's talking about like people coming at him or getting into the mix or like trying to influence the way that he's going to go about his career, especially since this is something more on the newer end of me going through stuff in comparison to working through discography stuff. So like talking about all of that happening and then being like, hey, then like teaming up into like savage fights to like the point where it becomes like a culture, right? There are certain people who like thrive on that kind of anger or like teaming up on stuff, right? There's so many things about our like online presence, right? Using social media that like encourage people to kind of dogpile onto outrage, right? And it will make you go viral probably, but not for the reasons you wanted. It becomes a bit of a culture, right? It becomes a bit of a thing where it's everyone else is doing it, so it's fine, right? Everyone else is saying these things, so why does it matter? And talking about like the dove afterwards, like a dove as a symbol of peace, of being like, after all of this kind of chaos going on, I still made it through. I still made it to the other side. I'm still having a career that is doing better than it even was before, as this kind of sign of peace after everything, to be like, I don't even need to pick a fight, right? I don't even need to defend myself, because what's the fight? What's the battle? And then goodbye, being like, I don't have time. I can't be bothered because I'm too busy doing other things. Incredible. And he just put that in. He just threw it in the middle of this. I'm fine. And then it looks like we're going for a full MJ look. I'm just... Yeah, he's like, let go. Oh my God. The like spotlight. Okay, footwork. Again, silhouette. Let's go. Nice, we got the kick. Wait. I mean, a whole production. I love that he's like dancers with him too. Like performers. Great use of the light on off. Even like his hand shapes are so intentional. I don't want to interrupt him, but like I was saying, even like his hand shapes, like we have these more relaxed hand shapes for certain moves and then more like rigid ones later on. I also love, again, the message of his verse in relation to the overall message of the song, right? Oh my God. Like I was like, this is gonna be a cover. And then he was like, I'm gonna give you a little something. I saw that it was like inspired by, and he was like, I'm gonna give a little something extra. I wasn't prepared. I'm sorry, sir. Hey, little kicks and everything. Also the ad-libs. Beautiful silhouettes with the dancers too. That's a cool image. Whoa. The inspired by ateez is so cute too. We have more, or was it just credits? A little message. Hold on. Aw, that's so cute. Especially since, like I've said, like in so many different things with ateez, even going back to Pirate King, right? I'm like, it feels like there was something collaborative in this of saying like treasure, right? Of being like, what's your treasure and what are you going after? And being like, I know what mine is and I know that I'm going to fight for it. I know I'm going to go after it, but I want you to do the same thing, right? I want us to go in tandem with both like ateez and ateeni, right? Like it's the both of them taking each other's hands and being like, you're going to help me with my dream. I'm going to help you with yours, and we're gonna figure this out. So I love that, especially again considering some of the stuff with this song of him talking about like dealing with other things that are like negativity, dealing with the song in general. It doesn't matter who's wrong or right. It's like we need to figure out a way to, I don't know, like work together or let go of things. And having people who have supported him up to this point and have helped him create things. And I like that it's, let it be messy, let it be ridiculous, let it be something that other people don't understand, but make it anyway, create something. And even if people like look down on you or don't believe in it, I've got you. I'm going to be the one who's supporting whatever you're doing regardless, because you did that for me, paying it back. And I think that's so sweet. What a performance. Like, again, I love that we got some like really powerful vocals from him, getting like a whole rap verse in there too, which I think is so like in line with him. Like I was saying, it feels like the first part was very much an homage to the original. It was trying to stick with what was familiar and not venture too far away from it. And then having that huge switch up, right? Like we stuck with the staying with the original long enough that not only was there a huge impact when we switched, but it was also like, I've given you enough of the original that I can now play around with it. And I think that's really fun. Even just having, dare I say, the audacity to take a Michael Jackson song and be like, I'm going to change it. I'm going to put something else in it. Like that in of itself is like one, knowing your skill set, right? And again, spending enough time with the original that you're like, I could just do a cover. I'm going to do something else, but then also make something, right? This message at the end of mess up, like create things, try, have crazy ideas, and then just try it, right? Why not? The worst that can happen is that like people don't like it. Okay, move on, pivot, figure out what to do next. So I love that he like put his own verse in it. It's something that's very characteristic of him. Having his like signature laugh before that point is a great transition, but also a clear signature of I'm my own artist, I'm my own creator. I'm not just here to take someone else's work and do my own take, but it's still a cover. Like I'm here to make things and create. And again, like the dancing, the use of silhouettes, the use of the costumes, even helping with that, right? Not just the hat, but we also had, again, like the fur collar is like this really chunky collar that like changes the silhouette. Even having the crop of the jacket be more like a waist than like farther down when we had the dress like suit jacket. That's like a different silhouette to it. So having so many different modes of what he was using just in terms of the costuming to help with some of those silhouettes as well, and the lighting being used, the different colors to be like different eras, different styles. It's such a vibrant visual, but also helps very much distinguish those different parts and then having it all mixed together at the end, where you're having like the bunch of the like performers in the costuming from the different parts mixing together as this like dance off kind of thing. And the vocal, I can't. There are too many things for me to talk about. I knew people were like, you're gonna love it, but I was not fully prepared. I'm gonna need time to process. I'm gonna need to like sleep on it and then continue to have thoughts.